Okay, everybody, I finally got my selfie stick. Decided to come out here and take a walk. So in Okerwall doing another Course in Miracles video. Decided to wear my glasses so I don't fall down when I'm out here, and just taking a little walk. So, I don't even really know what I want to talk about today. I think most of the things that I hear from people is a lot of stress and trauma that they're having, a lot of problems that they're having. And, the Course talks about that there's just one problem and one solution. So, we're always thinking we have a multitude of problems, like, is the sound good enough on my video? Am I going to fall down? How long should I make this video? I'm just sort of teasing, but I'm just meaning that, this is just the constant thing that's going on in our mind about life as a character. So you'll see me write a lot about really getting a distinguishment between what is the character and all the things that belong to the character. And this comes from looking that's called forgiveness in the Course in Miracles. And what it does, I got the selfie stick, trying it, I don't know. So I'm like famous or something, maybe.
I guess you are.
So anyway, there's a neighbor. But anyway, so the character, is famous. The character sees neighbors. Character has a personality. Character lives somewhere on the planet. It has a gender. And all these things belong to it, like some beautiful, all kinds of neighbors out here, but all kinds of beautiful, like, bushes out here with bees. We could get stung by a bee. All these thoughts belong to this world and this character, and they were created by us. I shouldn't use the word created, because the Course talks about it very, very much delineates that the word make and made are to be used instead of create, that only God creates, and that we made a world as if separate from him. So once we we learn all of that, like what I call phase 2, we learn about all these concepts and the wording and the labels that go along with this particular thought system, this particular path of spirituality called A Course in Miracles. And then when we begin the forgiveness process, which is like a phase 3, as I call it, and it's a time when that is much more focused on in the mind, instead of so much reading of the book and parsing lines, trying to understand many concepts. Phase 2 is very important to learn all those concepts and align your beliefs with them, as I've said many times before. But then phase 3, you're going to be looking, and in this looking, there's a great workbook line that says, forgiveness offers everything I want. And what it's meaning is that as I'm looking at these thoughts, of course, at first I think they're my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions to what's going on in the particular situation of life. And it's going to be slightly different for every hero of the dream, every person on the planet, but they all fit into like one category, is lots of problems. The form just changes, but the content is the same. So with looking a lot, you begin to realize that all those thoughts belong to a particular thought system, and yet you are looking, you are observing, you're pondering, you're wondering without answering, and that is all happening from somewhere else that doesn't seem to be in the world. It is above the battleground. It's not part of the situation. So it's like as if reading a book, and you're reading the book and you're seeing the characters in all these situations, but you're not it. And you're also like wondering, I wonder why that one would do this or that one would do that. So all that wondering, it's like as if you're the person reading a book, but the book is now your life. This character's life that you've been focusing on as being since you were born. So, or appeared to be born, right? In a human body. So you begin to get this delineation between those two things. What is your real self in the mind, who is observing and quiet? It doesn't answer. It has actually all the answers and no questions. Whereas the character has tons of questions and no answers. And no hope of ever finding an answer here in this world. That is why actually, once you really get a good feel for this and you stay being the self that has all the answers and no questions, then it becomes quite funny and joyful to look at the world, because you just remember how silly it has been to think that all these things were true. So let me see, how many minutes are we? 6 minutes, okay. So I'm walking around the block here. But anyway, so that is, I think, the biggest thing for me to talk about right now, because that is what I teach myself all the time in this remaining in the mind. And so the character and its thoughts and its emotions continue to happen. It's like as if thoughts are offered to this observer, and that observer can then choose to go with them or not. Although I have noticed just what most of the sages and gurus of all time have said, is that they begin to quiet down and there's just not as much of them. So it is if there's just like a liquid kind of flow or a dream-like flow of yourself through the world with sensations of the body, smelling and tasting and touching, and then the mind with its thoughts. But everything is just softer, and it really becomes, there's just no highs and lows. There's just a very steady beautifulness. So, I can explain all those things a lot, but the thing that we would teach yourself, that's like after you learn it, right? But the thing you're trying to teach yourself and the thing you're trying to do first is actually kind of an active thing, which is this looking. And that has to take place before a lot of this calmness comes. So, car crash. But anyway, and so that is really kind of maybe the end of this talk, because, if I was to talk about the feeling that you have, that, there's really not much to say. It just is an isness. But there's a lot to say about trying to learn how to look, learn how to find this self. That's what our all our efforts should be put towards, is to basically escape this world and find the one who is outside of time and space, because that one is your complete relief from every problem, which is one problem. So you don't have to unwind a million problems. You don't have to look at every problem that there ever has been. You don't have to try out every scenario. There does seem to be a time of needing to kind of exhaust all the potential options of the world, as you keep thinking another thing will work, and then another thing will work, and another thing will work. So that does seem to occur. And tomorrow I'm going to do one, on the script is written. and why it still appears that there's something happening. So we just hit 10 minutes, and y'all have a good day.